Our team coverage continues on the tragedy in Texas as we now take a look at schools in our area and the role security plays when it comes to building safety and keeping the students protected. Western Mass News reporter Amanda Callahan has more from local experts.
Having these type of resources available certainly can't necessarily prevent all type of shootings of this nature, but certainly can minimize it.
The second deadliest school shooting in the past decade played out in Texas on Tuesday, and yet another senseless act of violence now has many questioning the safety of school buildings and what security measures should be put in place. Retired associate professor at American International College, Gary Lafort, tells Western Mass News there needs to be a plan put in place on a national and state level to harden schools.
By hardening the schools, I mean having a single secured access point to the schools. Having training programs in the schools, not only at the high school level, but at the elementary level as well, because that's the real Achilles heel.
Lafort supports the idea of putting resource officers in schools and finding a way to put security on a room-by-room basis.
Besides having armed police officers or retired military present within the school, there is also the question about what about the possibility of arming, teachers and staff and school staff. Of course, you're assuming that they'll be provided the required training, to be certified to be able to use that.
The city of East Hampton is one local district putting security into play when designing their new K-8 school following the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012. Western Mass News speaking with one of the architects on the forefront of the design process.
What we used as an overall strategy in East Hampton is something called crime prevention through environmental design. Basically, what we do is we incorporate a lot of layers to the building design from the site all the way to the classrooms.
And some added safety precautions put in place at this East Hampton facility include added duress buttons that would lock off certain corridors in case of emergency, as well as multiple layers of buffers to access inside and outside the building, and shatterproof glass on the first floor.
Every community has its own thresholds and what they want. Part of the balance in designing a school, of course, is that you don't want it to feel like a prison to the students coming. So you really do have to balance that, but I think that the more and more we see of this, the more district stakeholders will want to focus on the safety aspect.
Amanda Callahan, Western Mass News.